all of them, they're basically just repackaging crony capitalism for the younger generation. For them to believe that these people really have our best intentions at heart, that they really are humanitarians, and they don't care about money.
So hold on. You're saying, just for people following along, that AOC and Bernie are a new form of crony capitalism? They're not.
Absolutely.
Okay. What? Because they're presenting themselves as against that.
Exactly. And at the heart of every liberal is being anti-capitalist, because they demonize the politicians, their spokesmen, or whoever the case may be. They demonize the corporations that actually benefit from, controlling the market. So as much as they use that rhetoric to get people hyped up and say, yeah, you're absolutely right, we're being ripped off by these corporations, they're the same ones benefited. I was telling another interviewer about how you don't see any changes with the green industry, with the transition to renewable energies, because the oil industry actually has these politicians in their pockets. It was some documentary on Netflix, just blew the shit up. They have all of these festivals that are supposedly promoting, transitioning to renewable energies and using solar power, et cetera, but it takes oil, gas to run the generators. And they expose this in the damn documentary. And it's like, when you know that exists, and if you truly want to fight the cause, you have to know the ins and outs. So they know it exists. They're not attacking it to say, well, these people are the problem and we need to go after them, or else we'd see it right now. Have you seen AOC do that at all? Have you seen Bernie Sanders in the decades that he's been a damn senator do that at all? Ron Paul went to introduce a bill to audit the Federal Reserve. You know who he turned to help back that? Bernie Sanders. You know what happened? Bernie Sanders backed out of that bill because he's in the pockets of those same corporatists, and lobbyists and whoever else, industries that would rather us not be able to prosper, and we the people to be able to take back our government and put it back into our hands where it belongs, because it never was. And as long as they continue to pull the strings, then we're just going to be watching a puppet show.
What did you mean about AOC and Bernie are appealing to new voters? They're going for a new base than the traditional Democrats.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So you have the shift happening from Democrats to being Democratic Socialists, and they actually do exist. They have an organization. They have money. The Democratic Socialists of America. You can look it up. And they have chapters all over the country. So they're positioning themselves to get into government and transition our government to becoming a socialist government. And since Democrats have the majority of control in larger states, especially for presidential elections, and in a blue state like California, it's harder for us to actually phase them out or challenge them to win an election and gain control back over our legislature. So as long as they're pitching to the next generation of voters who are excited about these ideas, free healthcare, free education, and free money, etc. As long as they're exciting that group of people to go out to the polls and vote for these people that support those ideas, then we're never going to transition back to being a conservative republic that has, has balance to it. What is it called? Checks and balances to it. There is none right now. It's just spin, 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 spin. At some point, somebody's going to say, we got to pay these bills,
Mm-hmm.
And because the people whose money that we're spending, the private people, the private bankers, like the Federal Reserve, are going to say, hey, you owe us that money at some point. And when that point happens and we don't have any money in our pockets, then they're just going to start claiming our property. And that's why we register our car. That's why we register our home. That's why we register our children. And it's sad because a lot of people don't see how we're being enslaved by an economical system that's been created simply so we can stay in debt to it forever.